Swim check 1, 2. Bike check 1, 2. Run check 1, 2. I think we're ready. Let's try this. Welcome to the Try Beginner's Luck podcast, a podcast where we explore the sport of triathlon from a variety of perspectives to help beginner triathletes on their journey. I am your host, Mashonda Shines. Well, welcome back to another edition of Try Beginner's Luck. That's right. This is still the transition area, especially as we are full bloom into spring. Things are still happening in the world, but guess what? This is our space to decompress and not distract. We aren't turning a blind eye to reality, but we are choosing not to let it drain our battery. We're going to control the controllables. We can't fix the whole world at once, but we can control our effort, our kindness, and our community. And we're going to continue to fuel the fire. I'm here to provide great stories and information that helps you cross your personal finish line, regardless of what's happening on the sidelines. So we can recognize the struggle and refuse to contribute to the noise. And let's focus on the miles ahead. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Have you ever thought about someone who you see competing at a high level? They are always winning races. You wonder, wow, they must have all the time in the world to work out. Well, not this guest. They probably have to make time to work out. I've had the honor of knowing this individual for about 5 years of my announcing career. And most races that I announce, they come in, they're overall women's leader. And then it wasn't until I was at Age Group Nationals and I saw them still competing at a high level. Well, listen, today's guest is proof that sometimes you don't fit it in at all, but you build a life strong enough to carry it. Today I get to welcome a competitive age group triathlete, a Team USA athlete, a high school USAT ambassador. She's a dedicated mom of 2 who are athletes in their own right, and she's someone who understands what it means to chase excellence while balancing real life at the highest level. Because when your days involve national security, family logistics, demanding careers, youth sports schedules, training blocks, and still finding a way to compete on the world stage for Team USA, you stop talking about motivation and you start talking about discipline, consistency, and purpose. Fresh off of Multisport Nationals, we get to talk to this athlete about balancing ambition with family life, competing as an elite age group athlete, and representing the United States on the world stage on multiple spaces, okay? And what it really takes to keep triathlon fun in the middle of a very full life. I absolutely love to call her the Queen of Kinetic. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone listening, let's welcome Michelle Christine to the Try Beginner's Luck podcast. Michelle, how you doing?
Hi, Mashonda.
Hi.
I'm
This is the
doing
most
well.
you talk to me. Oh my God, this is like great. Oh my God, hi. How does it feel to like be straight off of Multisport Nationals?
Oh my goodness. I've been asked that a few times today. How do I feel? How am I doing? And I said that my body feels okay. I'm not sore, but my nervous system is trashed. So anybody that's listening that has this experience where you feel foggy and loopy and your nervous system, you're just not right. And that's what I'm experiencing today. So forgive me if I'm if I segue a little bit. But yeah, it's crazy to come off those many days of high competition and then back into the swing. Yeah. It's strange.
Okay, I've never heard anybody talk about their nervous system. And I think if you could explain that, because what is Multisport Nationals and how is your body fine, but your nervous system isn't? Can you help walk us through that?
So Multisport Nationals is it's 5 days of racing. I believe they had, oh gosh, put me on the spot. I think 12 total races that you could have done.
Hmm.
So it's a lot of short sprint or super sprint distance races. They had the standard duathlon as well, so one Olympic distance races. Sometimes two, three a day within a really small period of time. So for me, I had 5 races in 4 days, and part of the training of it is the recovery or the quick turn of going from one race to the next race. Um, but that's the premise of the Multisport Nationals. Is there's a multitude of races. They're quick, back to back. You can register for as many or as few as you'd like, and most people that go, they're making the trip. So we're gonna get some races. The majority of them are national championships. So if you're making the trip, going to compete for some titles.
Okay, so 12 races within 5 days, and you competed in how many again?
4 individuals and the mixed team relay.
The
Uh,
mixed
the,
team relay.
yeah.
Okay, so we can understand why you might be a little off, but I don't think we often correlate nervous system with our athletic performance. And I recently am learning about that. I'm just started a cycling program where I only get to be in the small chain ring, and it is demoralizing a little bit, right? But it's teaching me how to cycle and cycle more efficiently. And the whole premise is to reset your nervous system. And so when you said that to me, I was like, this is a real thing that I don't think we talk about enough. And so, what are some ways that you will help to reset your nervous system because you were able to recover very quickly while you were at age group nationals in order to race again, which we'll get into that because that's a whole different thing. But what are you doing to help with your nervous system resetting?
Right now, it's just time. It needs some time to work out. Good nutrition, hydration, sleep, and just let those kind of chemicals settle back down. The way I understand it, and I'm not perfectly sure this is what it is, but it's you have those high performance, adrenaline, uh, cortisol, those kinds, and then you have these real highs, and then it kind of drops off, and your body it's just part of the recovery process. So your body also has to recover those systems as well as your muscles and the obvious ones. But it's really just rest and good nutrition and time.
And so let's go back to recovering between the races. Because for me, I've often wondered, like, how are you racing a couple of times? Some people race a couple of times a day. There are some people who probably do 10 of those 12 races,
Hmm.
right? But for you, what is it like to recover quickly in between those races when you're still away and want to kind of connect with people who you haven't seen in a while, but you want to like engage with them? Like, how does that work?
Um, it's pretty simple. I mean, I have a triathlon coach, and then I have a strength and nutrition coach as well. And so we kind of made a plan that, to make sure that my nutrition was lined up. So I knew what I was going to make sure that I was meeting some nutrition goals, getting some protein, some carbs and stuff in between races or after a longer race or whatever day. Um, and to make sure that those needs were being met, hydration needs were being met, um, things like that. So I knew what was going in was going to support what I was doing, um, nutrition wise, and then also, make sure I get a cool down run and I stretch a little bit, and I thankfully know, I'm pretty in tune with how I feel, so it I can tell, okay, I'm good. I feel good. Like we're flushed, the lactic acid out and flush the stuff out. And um so one of the things we did, because I hate cool down running, I hate it. I And I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do that. And so my friend Melissa, who went with me, she was working the aid station down at the run turnaround. So I gave her the car key. So I had to run to her to get it and come back. So I'm like, I'm cool down running, I promise. So we did that just to make sure that I did it. But we had a plan, my coaches and I, and it worked out. It worked out pretty well. But it was a lot of detail that went into it, but it was still, I had my meals and my food ready to go. And then I could sit and socialize with everybody while I ate my banana and my peanut butter sandwich like I was supposed to. So
So that's discipline right there. Like you worked the plan and stuck to it so that you could perform well. Do you ever find moments where you want to go off the beaten track to fulfill a need? Like, your body may be saying, well, I want this today. Is there any time where you've ever had that tension where you fed your body let's just say the hamburger versus the peanut butter and jelly sandwich that you wanted?
yes. So part of that plan was, and I talked to the strength and nutrition guy. He's like, well, what about Sunday night? Because we're done on Sunday. He's like, what do we have on Sunday for recovery? And I'm like, um, it, uh, up there, up north, they have Culver's, and I'm like, yeah, that's going to be Culver's. There's going to be a burger this big, and a peanut butter cup blizzard, and we're that's it. So don't even bother putting anything on the plan for Sunday night. So it kind of is motivating too. I'm like, I'm going to be good. I'm going to stick to my plan, and then part of the plan is after all of that is done, then yes, it's burger and fries time, and we're not even going to worry about it. And that's part of, like, mentally too, that's really important, I think, because it's
Ab-
real.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I always wonder, I'm like, you know, I, of course, am not an elite athlete. Like, I do the sport because I love it, right? I do it because it keeps me active, it keeps me something to go. But I struggle with that as well because in my mind, I'm very elite, right? You get it, right? Like, I'm not, but in my mind, I have that mindset. I just put it into like the podcast. Like, so I'm a lead when it comes to like doing that. But I've often wondered like how elite athletes think, what is their mindset? How do they stay disciplined and regimented? Has that always been a part of your ethos?
Yes and no. So not when I was a kid, but I was in the Air Force. I went into the Air Force, and that kind of turned it on for me. And I didn't realize how much I enjoyed discipline and routine and structure until I went into the military. And then after that, I realized that I perform better when I'm with the discipline. I enjoy it. It keeps me level. I just enjoy it. So, and I didn't realize that's until I was in that environment where I had that. So I naturally gravitate towards that. I enjoy routine and discipline, and working hard. So it's easier for me to kind of execute those things because I enjoy it. It's better for me to have a plan than to not have a plan. Um, so and I've said that too with people that are kind of ask me, about should I get a coach, but I'm not good enough to get a coach. And you're like, well, you don't really realize how much something like that, a structure and planning, and can help you with the discipline. So, yeah. And I am naturally gravitate towards that. Yes.
Just for all the coaches out there, can you say that one more time? Because I know a lot of coaches are struggling with like this whole AI craze and people going to get their plans from a LLM. Can you just say that for the coaches about the importance of having a coach?
Yeah. Having a coach is, I don't know how to best put it, that if it helps you structure what your goals are with what the best way to get you there. So AI could maybe do that, but it's not going to be nearly as personal or um, tailored to your needs at all. Like for me, my schedule's all over the place. my coach a lot of times has to adjust daily on, like, I can't do this today. What can we do? Or I have to go on a trip and we have to, I'm going to be in this hotel and they have a pool and I can take the tether and I can take and they have a treadmill, but I can't take the bike. So we have to adjust. AI is not going to do that for you. And, um, having a coach, having a personal coach, somebody who's invested in you, that's invested in you and your goals and your performance goals on a personal level like that, is naturally going to in turn motivate you to put it back into yourself. And AI can't do that.
And now I want you to talk about not having the discipline as a child and when you turned it on, because I think this is also good because you're a mom now and you probably, maybe or maybe not wrestle with some, your children about discipline, but you're like, well, I used to be maybe, and they'll get it. So tell us about maybe a part of your childhood that when the light bulb went on for discipline, how you were different, the Michelle that was growing up versus the Michelle discipline. What did that look like?
Well, it was more like the achievement part of it, where, you never really know, um, like that feeling of achievement, performance, that performance element when you achieve something like that. You don't really know what that feels like until you do it. So, I guess learning to lean into the discipline kind of started that performance, that checked those performance boxes that I didn't know were important to me until I started doing it. So, um you kind of learn that about yourself. You're like, wow, this feels right. This feels right to me, that I'm achieving and I'm performing, and it aligns with my personality and my you know expectations for myself. And then you go back to times when you didn't have a plan, when you didn't have a routine or discipline, and you're kind of like, I call it like floundering. You're just kind of, you don't have like a path and you're just kind of all over the place. You're like, you know, you don't realize how much you enjoy the focus and enjoy the path and the discipline until you're on it. And you're like, this is better. I like this a lot. I like this a lot more than kind of not really having a focus or a plan. And, I always say I'm grateful for learning that about myself early, because I can project it into other things, like anything. Like if I have house chores to do, you're like, if I just buckle into it and get it done, I'm gonna feel a lot better about it afterwards, and it's gonna feel a lot better than just disregarding it, kind of thing. So, um, it kind of trickles into everything else. But yeah, and then with my own kids, I'm like, they're probably the same way as me. They're probably just they don't know it yet. I mean, when you're a kid, you're like, I don't want to do that. I want to do what I want, but um, you don't necessarily realize that what you want might be, it needs some discipline and some routine to get there.
So would you say that being disciplined, you have a sort of a synchronicity with things where even if you go ahead and get things done, if you do it, even if something, how do I say this? If it doesn't, if something disrupts your day, it doesn't throw your day completely off because you are aligned. So maybe that's what I'm trying to get at. Like there's a certain alignment that happens when you're disciplined and in a groove. Would you say that to be true?
Yeah, yeah, you learn how to adjust. Learn how to adjust, and you kind of like eye on the prize, or the goal in general. So if the eye on the goal is to complete certain things during the day or to get things done, um, then that's going to be the goal, and you just kind of stick to the goal. You're like, all right, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get through this load of laundry. I'm going to get through this grad paper. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get through that. I'm just going to get through it, because the feeling on the other side of it is better than just not doing it, if that makes sense. So
For
you're like, when
sure.
I'm done, I did it. I pushed through it. I did it. Whatever it is that feeling is better than just skipping it.
I just want to say you hit on a key one right there when you said laundry. I was like, oh, like I despise laundry.
But then when you're done, you're like, I did it. I crushed it.
But I did it.
I crushed that whole basket. I'm done.
The other day, for instance, which I was looking for you, but then I learned that you were doing Multisport Nationals, so you weren't at this particular race. But as soon as I came home, I did not allow myself to sit down. I had to put everything away, wipe off bike, like put clothes in the laundry, unpack everything, and it felt so good when I was able to finally relax. So I totally get it. Now, do I do that all the time? No, but I want to. And so that was my first time doing that because usually after races, you come home, you just dump stuff there, you just let it sit there, and you're like, oh God, I gotta go back and get it. So that makes a lot of sense. So thank you for sharing.
And that's not like everybody's personality. I just find that that is better aligned with mine, that if I knock it out, then I'll feel better about it. And it transpires into into the rest of the day. So I'm like, no, I know if I just do it now, then I'm going to feel much better about it later. So
It's not everyone's personality, but
no.
everyone would like to have that personality because it makes you feel better. Like there's this lady, one of my friends, we started doing this thing where you don't leave any dishes in your sink before you
Hmm.
go to bed. Like every dish has to be put up or things have to be put. You'll be surprised when you wake up in the morning how that makes you feel.
Yeah,
Just
I do
having it
that.
done. And so it takes time. It takes that D word that we love, discipline. But when it's done, it's done. And you wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I get to mess them all up again, cooking and doing all the other things. And it just becomes like this rhythm. And so shout out to Layla, who it's called the Fly Lady method of just making sure you tidy every single day. So for those of you who don't like laundry like me, just, you know, put that out there. But let's get into this job because what we've been talking about is this discipline. Michelle, aka Queen of Kinetic. I understand why you're so focused now at these races. And I'll be like, hey, and I'm like, want to chat? And you're like, I am focused. I got a job to do. Who knew that you were a Secret Service agent? Mind psh, blown.
Uh, yeah, that's usually the reaction. I'm actually civilian. I'm a specialist. I I work in the airspace division of the Secret Service. I used to be an air traffic controller. That's what I was in the military. They picked me up to do their to work in their airspace security office, and I've been doing that for quite some time. Yeah.
So you have the luxury of protecting the airspace of the leaders of our country. That is, I don't want to go, I want you to share what you feel comfortable sharing and what you can. But what does that entail? And do you get to travel to other countries and do that? Or are you just stateside? Like, do you travel within the United States? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. So my office is we're responsible for the security of the airspace for all the Secret Service protectees. And yes, that includes lots and lots of travel, overseas, foreign, domestic, and yeah, it's so anywhere that they go, and the air needs protected.
Okay, I get it. Yes, I know. Right now, everyone who's listening, their mind is like blown because I am still like not sure how to recover myself to ask the next question. Like, what does life look like for you? Like, we hear when we think about the airspace and how air traffic controllers are a high demanding, stressful job. I can only imagine being the protector and secure of the airspace for the most I don't want to say valuable bodies, but the leaders of the free world, that's even more pressure. How do you keep your nervous system in check while doing that job so that you still can perform at a high level?
Um, it's as you can imagine, it's not it's a 24/7 job. It never turns off. It never stops. It's constantly changing. Uh, you're not living by your own schedule. So your, your day could change 180 degrees at any point. So you have to be really flexible. You have to learn how to adapt and overcome and adjust. Um, so there's that. Your shift, it's shift work. So it's, off hours, overnights, kinds of things for years. And you just, you kind of, I don't know, you get in that operator mentality where that's your mission set. So that's what you're responsible to do. And it kind of aligns with the personality type that command and control performance personality as well. It's very busy. It's fun though. It's unlike anything. Highly recommend a career in the military, in the Secret Service, and air traffic control. All wonderful careers.
So, what about it is fun if you can share? Because I think
Um,
people would want to know.
I mean, the camaraderie of it, the the camaraderie of it. You get, in an office of highly motivated operators that want to, that um are in the same job space. And then yeah, like I said, I've gotten to travel quite a few places that I never would have otherwise been. And that you're achieving something, you're part of something bigger than yourself. And you're part of security and for the nation. And yeah, it
You
checks all the
talked,
same boxes.
you said what now?
It checks that same box, the performance.
Performance.
It's bigger than you. You're contributing to something bigger than yourself.
You mentioned flexibility, adaptability, and having to adjust often, but also being a Secret Service air traffic controller of all the space that our leaders travel through also requires discipline and composure. And so, how does that translate into endurance sports for you?
It's kind of the same skill set, really. It's a zero fail mission, so mistakes can't be made. You have to stay focused, clear minded, clear decision making, keep your head about you in a high pressure situation, um, and be able to communicate things clearly. So all of that can be attributed to triathlon as well. So I'd like to say sometimes that my job, the skills that I've learned at my job have made me a better athlete, specifically in triathlon because of all the detail involved and things like that. And it can be very high pressure, regardless of what level you're competing at. I mean, going through transition and getting through those stages of the race it's high pressure. You have to kind of keep composed. So doing that has, or developing those skill sets in my job space has definitely helped being an endurance athlete.
And so, I want to transition a bit because I want to touch on the family piece because I'm sure if I was listening to this, I would be like, okay, so we talked about your job, we talked about you just coming from Multisport Nationals, but you're also a wife and a mom. And so you mentioned to me in the questionnaire that I had you complete that your husband equally has a demanding job.
Hmm.
And so what does that look like when both of you have very demanding jobs and kids that also are in their height of they play hockey and so traveling for hockey and making sure that you get games, like is there someone that comes in to help? I mean, I'm curious. like how does it happen? What does it look like?
A lot of the times we just say it's magic, like it just works. I don't know, I have no idea. We've been asked that a few times by other families, that other people we know that are going to want to start to have a family. They're like, how do you even do this? We have no idea. So um again, a lot of logistics and planning and organization. And just since we've had the kids, we take it as a team approach, and it's 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 a team effort to get to the common goal of how are we best taking care of the kids, getting what they need, and then getting what we need, and who can adjust easier, and who can adjust, and if we both can adjust, how do we get help? So my parents are help, his parents help, but yeah, for the most part, we're really good at organizing logistics of who needs what, and we thankfully have a wonderful community of people who are happy to uh you know run a kid to a game or pick them up from practice, and or when they were younger, get them off the bus, if I'm running late back from DC, that get them off the bus, things like that. And we just have wonderful, wonderful support, in friends and family. So uh it's a lot of planning and a lot of support. And then when the kids were younger, we kind of altered our shift work. So one of us was home with them at all times. So he would work afternoon shifts, I would work day shifts, and we try to marry that up. So we just, like ships in the night, we just pass off, and the kids were with one of us all the time. So that was wonderful, and that we could make that happen. And but a lot of, like, usually that's the answer, is it was just magic. We're not really exactly sure how that we how we do it.
Just magic. I love that. That's a great answer. It's just magic, you know.
It's just magic. I don't know if I can really explain it. Like, sometimes we're like, all right, I guess it works. Okay.
What
But it's a lot of understanding too. We have to understand that, you know, we're just the common goal, and sometimes I have to adjust, sometimes he has to adjust, sometimes the kids have to adjust. They have to get themselves up and out the door in the morning, and that's the way it's got to be. So
now, does your husband by chance participate in sport, or is he an athlete in his own right?
he it's always funny. He says that he's the athletic supporter. So he says, I'm the athletic supporter. He is the Sherpa extraordinaire. In fact, I think the multi-sport community is likes him better than they like me sometimes. I got asked more where he was this weekend than how me. Like, uh, but yeah, he does run. I think for that release and that clarity, he has started running. He recently ran his first marathon, so we're all very proud of him. Uh, and yes, so he does, but not nearly as seriously, in the sense of he just does it for fun, for release. He doesn't compete. He does compete. He does athletics for sure. But he'll tell you his main goal is to drink the VIP tent out of IPAs.
Because that is a job.
It is.
That's a
They
real job.
they they bring extra for him. They're like, well, we brought more. We knew you were coming. But no, he's great. He's very, very, very supportive. He loves coming with me. He's wonderful at splits and Sherpa duties that I can't even, I couldn't match that level.
Can I just give a shout out to all the Sherpas out there in the world? Let me
Yes.
tell you, Sherpas, or people who come to support you in a race setting, it is really not for the faint at heart, especially for the longer distances. And I think they don't get enough credit. Like, we focus on the people who are actually out there doing the distances, but between the Sherpas and volunteers, baby,
Hmm.
they're the real champions and the MVPs, because it's a lot of work. I was just watching some folks who were doing the new inaugural Ironman Jacksonville race, and they were, you know, talking, and for whatever reason they did a video about what they were doing, and then somebody was like, well, all they got to do was eat. And I was like, no, that's not all. Did you not see that they're up taking that person to, you know drop off for the morning? They're there to pick them up. They're getting their bike while they're on the run. They are constantly moving and doing something, and probably
Hmm.
got just in as many steps as the actual athlete. So I'm glad. So shout out to your husband for being the best Sherpa ever, and congratulations on his first marathon.
Yeah, they are if you got a good Sherpa, I- he was picking on me because I couldn't. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to Sherpa the marathon, but I did get to two watch points, and I was very proud of myself. I'm like, I did it.
So I wonder, do
I said, you didn't get any splits, you didn't get any, sorry, but I did get there. So
so what you're telling me is that the elite athlete is not the best Sherpa?
no, he's the first one that'll tell you that. He's like, you guys are terrible at this. It's a good thing this isn't your job.
Hilarious.
So
That is
funny.
so funny.
But yeah, no, hey, it works. It's a fine balance.
I love it. I love it. So let's get into sport. Um, you've done all the distances, Michelle. When did you even get involved in sport to say, hey, this is something I enjoy?
Well, I was in the military, so I had to run in the military and make, there's physical fitness standards and things. So that was obvious. When I separated from the military, I kind of needed a goal. I always need a goal. So that's another part of the discipline part. And so I started training for marathon. I ran the Philadelphia Marathon and the Marine Corps Marathon. Um, and then I was like, I don't want to go back into training for another marathon. Like, just what else? So that I had moved to DC by that point, and the triathlon community in DC is huge. There's a lot of I mean, Kinetic is huge in DC. So I was like, well, I'll get a bike and maybe start training for triathlon. I kind of know how to swim, so I did the Iron Girl in Columbia, Maryland in 2008, I think. And yeah, I was hooked. I'm like, this is great. It kind of it was low key for a few years. I had both kids, and then I did one in between the two, I think, and it wasn't really serious. I was just, a goal to train and, like, to keep myself active and to train, try to lose baby weight, stuff like that. And then in 2016, Halloween 2016, yeah, I was like, I've got to, like, I had that itch to do something, and I'm like, I have a goal, like, what do I do? And it was around Halloween, and this is a true story that I ate a ton of Halloween candy, and then I guilt signed up for Ironman Maryland in 2017. So I signed up for the Ironman after a ton of Halloween candy, and that was it. So I'm like, that's it. I'm signed up, and everybody that's ever paid an entry fee for Ironman knows that you're committed once you sign up. So, yeah. So I went into training. I trained for 18 months, no coach. Uh, and then about 4 months before the race, I had a panic attack, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna hurt myself. What am I doing? Like, I'm gonna get into this race and totally blow it. And a friend of mine was like, you should call my coach. You should call. So I cold call this guy and say, hey, I'm training for Ironman Maryland. I have no data. I have no training plan. How do you feel about taking me on as an athlete? So thankfully he did. I got through the Ironman. It was great. And he's been my coach ever since.
This is cute because you actually were going rogue, and now you are officially rogue.
Yeah. Yep.
If you know, you know, but I love that.
So I got through the Ironman, and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. It was the cliched thing that everybody says, it's the journey, not the race. And it really was. You learn a lot about yourself, going through that process and completing it, and completing something huge like that. And I knew I didn't want to leave that world. I really enjoyed triathlon, but the time, the training time, and the kids were really small still. And the training time was just too much. And I said, my family was so supportive through this, but I'm not going to keep asking for, 20, 25 hour training weeks. So I said, hey, can we drop down and like, can we do like sprints or Olympics or something like smaller, more manageable training and racing? And he's like, yeah, of course. So we kind of started doing that. And then I found out that I prefer a short course to a longer course. And that's kind of how I got stuck with short course. I qualified in 2018 in Cleveland, that year that they canceled the swim for the sprint distance. It was my first ever nationals, my first year out in triathlon competitively, and they canceled the swim, and I'm not the best swimmer. So I qualified for World Championships in Lausanne the very next year, and that kind of lit the fuse.
So 2008, you got your start. 8 years later in 2016, you did your first iron distance. And in between there, you had children and was doing races. But it wasn't until 10 years after sport where going to age group nationals lit a fire in you. Or was it multisport?
It was age group nationals
Age
in
group
Cleveland.
in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And so many of us have experienced the swim being canceled. But in your case, it worked out to an advantage for you. And so from 2018 to now 2026, you've made the national team every year that you've gone to age group nationals to perform. So how do you, because you have shift work, how do you get off for these events in order to race during the season and then be able to go to age group nationals? Or are you having to trade and barter a lot with your colleagues?
It's days off or leave, like anybody else. So I just get creative with how I request. It's regular time off, just like everybody else. It gets used for racing. We joke that, I mean, I'm not the only one that'll say that that your vacations all include a race. So no, I don't. It's no different than anybody else. It's either, your regular days off happen to line up, or you're on vacation time like everyone else.
So take us quickly, because there's someone out there who has desires to do the full distance Ironman, but may struggle with the tension of really staying in that lane of short course Olympic, because typically you're done in an hour, Michelle. Like, you're that fast that you try in an hour, you're gone. You move on about your day. You go enjoy the rest of your day. So what would you do to, tell an athlete about finding their lane in this sport so that they could have longevity?
I just make it a priority. And I say that with not, where there's always something, I guess, you could bump, or make a hole. I do find that having kids kind of made me a little more efficient, because sometimes I'd get home from work and I have 45 minutes until the bus shows up. And if I don't get out the door, and I have a 40-minute run, so I'm in and out the door and I have 5 minutes. If I don't do that, then my window closes and I gotta manage it somewhere else. So, and that's where the coach helps too. So the coach, a coach can help you map out, what shifts do you have that week? What family commitments do you have that week? How can we puzzle piece this best in? So on Wednesday, if that's a really busy day for you and you only have 30 minutes, what can we do in 30 minutes that's the most efficient? And then maybe on Saturday, you have a longer chunk of time that we'll put a bigger workout on Saturday. So a coach could really help you organize your schedule with proper training. And then, smarter, not harder. So you make those sessions efficient. So, a coach can help you with that too. So you're not you know, spinning wheels, and that time is really, really focused and well spent, and it's going to best get you to your goals, and like you said, keep you consistent and moving forward, and that ball moving forward constantly. Um, and then also give yourself some grace. It's life. Like if you miss a workout because of life, then give yourself that grace and get back on it when you can get back on it, and don't dwell on that. It's life. It happens.
What does it what did it feel like to wear the Team USA kit and compete for the first time
It was it's
internationally?
so it's the most indescribable thing. It's something that people just, especially because I was in my 30s, I'm like, I just, if you told me that this would ever be part of my life, I'd just tell you were nuts. And I remember when I first got my first USA kit in the mail, and I'm like, well, this is going to be under my clothes forever, like Superman. I'm just never going to take this off, and that's it. And it was just immediate pride, and and I'm in the military. I still serve. I've been serving my country since I was 18. So to be able to do it in this capacity is just indescribable. And I'm so grateful to get to do it. And then you go to the events and you meet everybody else, and everybody feels the same way. They're like, we're just so happy to be here. And competing for your country is unlike anything. It's indescribable. And it's a privilege. It's a complete privilege.
Tell us about your most memorable or favorite time racing for Team USA.
My favorite was the in Hamburg in 2 years ago, and I did the mixed team relay, and we were the first team, and I had I had my individual race the day before, and I was fourth, and I had a really great race, and I was fourth, and everybody knows that a world's top three is winning, and four and below is thanks for coming. And I was so just devastated, and I'm like, no, we got this team relay, I got to rally, we got my team's counting on me, we're gonna do it. And um it was the most exciting thing I've ever done in sport. And those tags, I'm getting goosebumps just even talking about it. That tagging your teammate on a world stage like that, and just flying through your laps, and getting your portion of the relay done, and tagging them, and then waiting at the finish line. And we ended up finishing third, and we just we got on the podium, and we the whole experience of being on a world podium like that with that kind of win, and was just incredible. There's nothing like it. And to do it with a team, it would have been great to do it individually. I would have been, but to do it with a team was by far my most favorite thing. And, you know, I taught those teammates we're friends for life, like friends for life. Like you're forever going to be in touch with these people. And it was really, really, really wonderful. And then while we were on the podium, the coach of the German team came up to us. It was like, he's like, you guys did well. He's like, and he started pointing at the German team, one of the teams that we had beat. And he goes, Olympics, 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 Olympics. He's like, they're former like Olympians that are competing in the age group category. He's like, you beat them. So we got a little kudos from the German coach. But by far my favorite moment in triathlon, that team was incredible. And my husband and my son got to go, and uh, they were there, and they got to see it happen. And it was wonderful. A lifetime
Wow.
memory. Yeah.
Wow. Speaking of memorable, congratulations. That is still because you're a world champion. You've gotten to represent the United States on that level. Um, let's go back to this past weekend. Did you get any national championships?
I did.
Okay,
Um,
let's talk about them.
so I entered I had four individual events. So it was the super sprint duathlon, the super sprint triathlon, um, the draft legal sprint distance triathlon, or duathlons, draft legal sprint duathlon, um, draft legal super sprint duathlon, and then draft legal super sprint triathlon. So there were three draft legals and two non-draft. So I did have to take two bikes. Um, and then the relay. So there were five total races. Um, and the relay was the draft legal duathlon. So there were five total. So in all four of my individual events, I won overall female. So I won all four. And our relay team won the overall relay. So it was a clean sweep for me for the weekend. So I won all five.
Do a body roll. Go, Michelle. Go, Michelle. Look at you.
um,
Congratulations.
I still haven't quite processed it yet, but I said my goal going was to win one. So then the second one, and then the third one, and it kept getting more surreal. And yeah, no, it was it was a really great week. I felt really well prepared. I got to see a lot of friends that triathlon friends that I don't normally see. Everything went really, really well. And I had a lot of great support, and uh, we learned there was a lot of things learned about what works and what doesn't work. And but yeah, everything couldn't have went better.
So, do you mean to tell me you're still learning about what could go better?
Oh yeah,
Even when you are winning, you won everything.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's part of the draw of triathlon, I think, is that you'll never master it. So you're constantly learning. It's constantly keeping you on your toes. So it's part of the appeal of it is that it's constantly pushing you.
So, would you say, you may be helping me unlock something in my brain here now? Would you say that people who are problem solvers tend to fare well in triathlon because it's like a puzzle piece that they're constantly figuring out and making micro tweaks in order to ultimately um, try to solve a puzzle?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Yeah, that type A kind of OCD personalities I think fare really well in triathlon. Uh if you're a natural problem
So,
solver, there's a lot of problems to solve. And then, if you're uh like a I just lost my train of thought. Yes, problem solvers. So you're looking for ways to improve things, to fix things. What can I do here? What can I do there? Down to the smallest, should I put my right shoe on first or my left shoe on first, which is faster, like those kinds of things. So, but it's all from, you know, that root of just wanting to do your best.
100%. On which shoe to put on first. That is,
Yeah.
wow. That this
Or
sport
some other
just,
little tiny detail that you're like, could save you a millisecond here or there.
see, that matters for those listening. See, this is the brain. Again, I told you at the beginning, I'm always curious about the brains of elites because they care about everything down to the millisecond. But we're talking and we've talked about this, the success of racing. But have you ever had moments that just crushed your soul?
Oh yeah, of course. I think more often it does. You get a little bit crushed. And I think we do that to ourselves sometimes too, where a friend of mine said that, we're constantly raising our own bar. So sometimes we never meet it. So, um, trying to constantly push. Sometimes you naturally let yourself down a little bit when you're constantly not letting yourself hit your goal. Um, yeah, back to Hamburg, the fourth place finish just really it was crushing. It was. And it's I put together a really great race and I went through it 1,000 times. I'm like, I couldn't have done anything better. And I have to kind of resolve that sometimes and say, well, what could I have done better? And maybe learn from it next time. But sometimes you have to kind of give yourself that I had a really great race and it just didn't turn out. I just every the competitors had the better race. And that's what I like about triathlon too, that they, you really can compete against somebody and say they had a really great race. They deserve to win that race. And well done.
Well, Michelle, Christine, well done to you. If taking back and thinking about beginners who might be listening to this, I would like for you to give advice to a beginner about getting started in the sport. And we do have a lot of just age groupers who are vets who are listening, and give them advice about continuing in sport.
Yeah, to the beginners, you can do it is my advice. You can do it. Give yourself a shot at doing it. You're gonna surprise yourself, and it's going to be amazing. And know that anybody you see competing at a higher level, or winning races, or see, they all started where you're starting. My first triathlon, same thing. I just wanted to survive it. And I got done, and that's what I was like. I lived through that. It was amazing. And everybody started at that point, at some point. They were right there with you. So, and everybody remembers that. So give yourself a chance, and you can do it. And know that everybody starts somewhere, and that you can do it. And then to the seasoned athletes, same thing. Give yourself some grace sometimes. It's a tough, sports is tough. Don't be tough on yourself, and discipline, and keep consistent in training. But give yourself some grace too, that you're doing a really great job.
All right. Now we're on to rapid fire. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's do this. I usually ask this question, but I feel like I know the answer to it. Evening workout or morning workout?
Morning, if I can. Yeah.
Hardest discipline mentally?
10K. 10K run for me.
Say more about that.
10K. It's hard. It's hard to fuel. It's hard to pace. I think a half marathon distance is easier to fuel and pace, and a 5K is a 5K. I think a 10K is, to me, the most difficult discipline of any of the legs of any of the triathlons, is the 10K.
Okay. Do you have a bucket race list that you want to race still?
Yokohama, for sure.
Okay. Most chaotic mom athlete moment?
Oh goodness. Most chaotic mom athlete moment. I am not sure. Them as the athlete or me?
You.
Um, Chaotic. I'm not sure. That would be pass. I'm not sure. I'll think of it.
Okay. But then, as I'm thinking of it, there is no chaoticness because it's the magic.
I mean,
Yeah.
they've come along to races before. It's just uh I don't think we've ever had like a chaotic specific moment. I think it's all chaos. That's my answer. It's all chaos.
Okay.
It's all chaos. I can't pinpoint one specific chaotic moment.
Well, let's stay in on the kids. What's one word your kids would use to describe you?
Um, Driven, committed.
Most underrated part of triathlon?
The community. I don't think people realize how wonderful it is until they get into it, but you'll make lifelong friends in triathlon.
I'm curious because you're so disciplined, you're so driven. What's your favorite song or favorite hype song? Do you even
Oh,
listen to music when you work out?
I do, and it's relatively embarrassing because it's usually some sort of like pop, current pop music, or whatever's new. Hype songs. I'm an '80s rock fan. Uh,
Okay,
I like some '80s rock for sure.
it's good to know. Coffee before training or after?
Both, all day.
Do you rest?
I don't know. I think sometimes I just actually die for a little bit and then come back. I don't know if I actually rest. So,
That was really
but
one of the rapid fire questions. I was like, I wanted to ask that during the segment, but I was like, I gotta get it in.
no, coffee all day.
Best recovery snack.
Um, Chocolate milk.
Okay. And finish this sentence. Triathlon has taught me.
Triathlon has taught me consistency, rewards from consistency, and humility, and and effort versus reward, or effort for reward, reward. How do you say it for effort?
And we don't let anyone leave the podcast without answering this question. Do you pee on the bike or get off and take a proper pee break?
I have never been able to pee on the bike. People have tried to teach me. They've tried to tell me all the techniques. I've never been able to. Again, another great advantage of short course only. You don't really have to. But the couple long courses that I've done, it's in transition on the side, and we just go and then we go. I do have a fun story about the kinetic race, the Northeast Triathlon.
Share. We want to
So
hear.
you know that venue, the Northeast, where you jump off the dock and you go. So normally you go before you get in the water, and I'm like, well, I'm on the dock, I can't go. So I get in the water, and then immediately I have to pee like the whole time, right? So I'm on the bike and I can't go. I'm like, everybody tells me I'd be able to go. My bike time was terrible because I'm trying to like decide whether to go or not. People say go uphill, go downhill. I tried everything. No, can't. So by the time I got off the bike and out on the run, I'm like, I've got to stop. Like, I can't continue on. So the first aid station, the Boy Scouts were manning it. So I pull over next to the table and just start to go. And I'm like, and they're like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, it's okay. And they're like, oh my God, she's peeing. So I made the Boy Scouts day at the aid station. And I'm like, nope, 15 seconds. And I was on my way. So
The
I'm
best
like,
15 seconds ever. Thank you so
best 15
much.
seconds ever. So just
Oh,
pee.
this has been good. This has been good. We have this saying on Try Beginner's Luck, whenever you try, you always win. And I still believe that to be true. If you've loved this podcast, you love what we're doing, again, share it with your friends and family so that they can hear it, and also follow us. We're mainly active on Instagram, so definitely follow us there. We're on every major podcast platform, including Substack, so you can find us there. And this will also be on YouTube, so you can check it out there. I think that's it. My name is Mashonda Miles, also known as Mashonda Shines, and for today, we are out. Peace. Bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and listening to this episode. We need your help so we can continue to try at TBL. So for more information on where you can find and subscribe to this podcast, visit www.trybeginnersluck.com. And don't forget, whenever you try Beginner's Luck, you always win.